I used to hold coffee house meetings just at coffee shops, like Revolver, like you were talking about, when I lived in the city. And it's actually part of how the ladies' meeting started, was just over a cup of coffee.
Hmm.
Um, because I lived on Hastings and Abbott, and I managed the building above Prado. And so it was a small boutique, used to be a hotel, and it got refurbished into single units. And so I was the apartment manager. It was a lot of fun. It was a great
Cool.
way to move into the city, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Because my houses were up for sale in Abbotsford, and it was like, well, why am I hanging around here if I got a job offer? It comes with a house, like
Yeah.
some cash, and it really didn't take up a lot of my day. I just needed to be on call so that if anything happened, and I needed to be there at night, so it was super easy.
Good.
So I just started, and I didn't know the city very well, but I knew I wanted to hang out in Gastown.
Yeah.
You know, you think you want to live in Gastown, right?
Yeah, yeah, until you do.
You realize it's on Hastings Street, right on the edge. The yellow line between on Abbott is literally, it is like the wall. It is really bizarre. And until someone explained to me that the police actually manage that line between Abbott and Hastings, I've watched people. You don't really realize that there's that many undercover police officers in Vancouver.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, until they're in your back alley with guns under their,
Wow. That's
And
crazy.
if people they didn't want came over the line,
Mm-hmm.
you'd see them get hauled back over because it wasn't good for tourism. But if they were a carver,
Oh, isn't that interesting?
yeah, if they were a carver and kind of good for business and
Yeah.
doing well, you were allowed to come and hang out. And the Prado Cafe is just amazing for seeing that culture. It's
Yeah. Yeah. I did a coffee meetup at the Prado, I think a couple times last year. It was interesting. I liked it. I really like that spot,
yeah,
actually.
that's fun. Well, and the color of their coffee cups was
Yes.
I know that sounds so shallow. But anyway, so then I just started exploring other coffee places and started to pull my networking back together. Because, like, for example, a lot of the people that I saw at that conference we were just at, I've known those people for 10 years,
Oh, wow.
right? And so I started getting
Oh, pardon me. Sorry, didn't mean to sneeze.
So I started going back and out and doing networking with those same people, but it was mostly women that showed up. I'd just be like, because people are always asking me social media questions, right? It's like, oh, can I just get a little bit of help with that? And it's like, sure, I'll meet you for coffee, but then you can't go all over the place for 10 different coffees with 10 different people.
Right. Oh, that's interesting. So you're like, this is where I'm going to be. If you want some social media help, come and find me. That's good.
Yeah, and it also played to that I've always been that scared girl who's like, what if nobody shows up?
Yeah.
As
you get some work done.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know what, this is where I'll be if you show up or not show up. And it was more self-protection for myself. If nobody showed up, I got something to do. I got a place to be.
That's kind of what I did with, my coffee meetups and how that moved into the beautiful spaces. The same idea. There was a bunch of times where it was just me, but I brought my computer, got work done, it was totally fine.
Yeah. And then so all of a sudden, sometimes 10 people would show up.
Yeah. Cool. So are you trying to replicate that on a virtual format now? Is that the idea?
Yeah, actually, and not just ladies. It's just going to be open.
Yeah.
So Fika in Swedish is actually, if you work in a factory or any business or whatever, they will stop. It's written into your job contract, and you will have coffee, usually in a quiet corner with a candle. And it's just a place to get to know somebody and get to know a coworker.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's just about developing culture and relationships and finding out a little bit more about that person.
Wow.
And so that's why I call them
Swedes. They're so smart.
Oh, I know. Very interesting.
Yeah.
My grandfather's Swedish and my other grandfather's Norwegian, so I've been there a few times actually, and it's a very interesting place.
Wow.
And then when I was out in Aldergrove, so Fika Coffee House Network, I developed when I was building a 6,000 square foot. Well, it was done, and I had to stay there for 2 years and babysit it. I was paid 24 hours as a caretaker, to quite well actually, because it was a business we were starting out in Aldergrove called the Eagle Wind RV Park, and I developed the business plan and everything, the building. The construction, we worked on it for 5 years, and then it was like, well, now we have to start this, but we can't really trust it with anybody because now we know what we want it to look like. We don't know what money it will bring in. So, and still some of the construction was done, and we still had equipment on site. So somebody needed to be there 24/7. And I was in this beautiful building by myself with my kids. We had the apartment upstairs that I had designed the kitchen and not knowing I would ever get to live in it. You know, so it was pretty cool experience. And then, so I would just, and we were members of the Abbotsford Chamber, the Langley Chamber, all sorts of places. And so I get to go to the meetings, but then it was like, I couldn't stay because I had to get back to the property. Right. And I was really starting to explore what it was like to run a bigger business because I was taking some courses and things like that. And then I was like, well, I've got this conference room. It's a beautiful Whistler style, ironically. So I've said Whistler style for so long. You have no idea. For those of you that are watching the recording, I live in Whistler now in this beautiful Whistler log home, not a Whistler style, on the lake. And I've always said the reason I hated that property was that it wasn't on the water. Otherwise, I would have done that job forever. And so I just started inviting people over to this conference room. I had chamber meetings over there and just learned how to cater and do all that stuff. As an adult, I grew up in a conference center, so it wasn't a real hard stretch to plan and organize things. I probably met more people before the age of 12 than most people meet in a lifetime. We would have people come in for art of living classes and things like that.
Cool.
And so we would do like Leah Koss, for example, came and did when she was a mortgage broker. She's not now. She now runs a business to help kids learn how to run their own business, which is really cool. And she's one of the first people that I ever saw do YouTube videos because she did, for her mortgage business, she did 10 videos in her backyard and she just took 10 different outfits and just switched the outfits so it looked like it was totally different, and her hair. Right. And so I was like, oh, this woman is amazing.
That's awesome.
She came over and talked about business mortgages.
Cool.
And 10 people showed up and we called it Coffee House, and we had the little board. If you go on Meetup, you can still find it. We had the board with the logo, and it had Berkman Printers sponsor it, and it was just called the Coffee House. And that was it. We just drank coffee. We did vision boarding classes. We did just whoever wanted to come over and do a talk. And it was right when Meetup was starting. There was like, it's actually how I ended up meeting Owen Clark, and he came from the Sunshine Coast, you know, just to come to one of the meetups because nobody was doing Meetup, but we all wanted to meet each other. Because it was 2009, I think, 2009, 2010. No, year 2008, 2009, probably. And so I met these people that started the networking, who I then ended up going, even though I was living in Abbotsford, when I moved to Vancouver, I went to like BNI and things like that as a guest, and I already knew them, right? Because of this. So the Coffee House Network is back. Fika Friday is back. And you've got to explore Mighty Networks a little bit. So what's
Mighty Networks?
Mighty Networks is what we've been chatting on.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you're on your phone, it's this little yellow. If you download the app, and I don't know if you can see it on there.
Yeah, I see it, yeah.
And I love that it doesn't take a whole bunch of space. I was able to download it on my phone.
Okay.
But you can also,
that's what you set this up for. Okay.
Yeah. But the way I've set it up right now, it's within our closed network of the ladies meeting.
Yeah.
But I'm going to build it as its own network. So it's not, so it'll be a way to build the tribe for people that are can only meet online. So for example, Debbie's going to be able to do this because I've been like, how can I keep Debbie in the loop, right? Because she's moving to the East Coast.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right. Yeah.
I don't know what to lose her. She's been like a huge part for the last two years or so of the meeting. And she said like, hey, I want to start this over there. And I'm not ready for that.
Sure you are.
Not for the ladies meeting, because I have some really specific goals for that, right?
Yeah.
But I do want to continue meeting and connecting and building our group. And the thought has always been Vancouver, Toronto, New York, LA. That's been but I haven't really taken Quebec. Quebec is just not on my radar.
Right.
So basically this is the way that she can be included once she's moved. And then for people that want to get over into the ladies meeting, which is the paid membership site, then that'll be a great way to do it. So we've set up already for next week, Friday. Kathy and I are going to meet at the Four Seasons for coffee.
Nice.
Yeah, and we'll start picking just a 20-minute topic, and then everybody can just network and talk and chat and drink their coffee together. So it's only a little bit of structure.
Right.
And a lot of connecting and building a deeper culture, and the opportunity then to meet online, because within Mighty Networks, it gives you the opportunity to build like a meetup group and connect with locations and stuff too.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so
Very good. So is it going to be every Friday? With some Fridays will be virtual, and then once a month is going to be like in person at a nice space. Is that the idea?
I haven't totally figured it out.
Right.
I've got the first 2 weeks planned, and
There you go.
the thing is, if I make sure that this meeting room is open every Friday,
Yeah.
I can't do it. But what it'll do is develop the opportunity to go back to what Fika Friday was, which is you can go to your real space if you want.
Yeah.
You can watch on your phone with your headset, but
Right.
with somebody, or maybe you go do it 4 or 5 times and people start to show up at your location as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Very good. Cool.
yeah. So what's been going on for you this week?
It's been really good, with the exception of yesterday and today. For some reason, I'm just kind of hitting an energy wall. I'm not sure what it is. I'm feeling a little unfocused. So got to figure that out, because I've got a really important meeting at 9:30 today with CBC for my first Weekend Club business. Yeah, they're looking at a partnership proposal that I submitted, and they've requested the meeting, so I take that as a good sign. Mm-hmm. So that's good, but I'm not sure what's going on with me. I put these videos that I want to do for Rodan Fields and my YouTube channel and stuff. I am not doing it, and I don't know what the block is. And I think that's why yesterday was so unproductive, because yesterday and today I literally blocked off specifically to work on my videos, and I'm not doing it. I don't know why. I'm just like, I feel like my
topic, or is it the weather? Because literally sometimes it's just the weather. Because I don't know what it's like in Vancouver.
Yeah, it's
the last 2 days have been just weird, because it's kind of overcast. So it means there's the pressure is changing.
Yeah,
it changes. We're
so weird that has such an effect on us, but I know, and I know I am affected by it. So, but I think it's more than that, because I've been talking about doing these videos for as long as the mastermind has been going. That then this newsletter idea, which I haven't really moved forward on either. So they're kind of they're meshed now, right? Because with your recommendation of starting my newsletter with a video, and I see the wisdom in that, but I'm just not moving forward, and I don't know what's.
Have you got your 10 topics already laid out?
No, that's maybe a good place to start.
So I had a friend at the gym, and he's like, I want to have an online business. He's like, I don't know where to start. And I'm like, well, you can't you can't steer a parked car. So I sent him home literally with one of these.
What's that?
It's a scrap piece of paper.
Okay.
Really technical, because he lives in his van, but he's one of the most amazing bike techs in Whistler. And Whistler is a place where some people have more expensive bikes in their cars. So it's a really good career to be in here. It is a career. And he literally, I said, go home. And he's like, well, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to write about. And I just said to him, I said, what are the top 10 questions you get asked in a day? Right. And the next morning, see this?
Yeah.
Czech handwriting. I think he's Czech. Right. And he's going to start working on this. So he's got his 10 questions. And I said, even if it's not what you end up doing as your business, you now have a system. So now his first question is, can you fix my brakes? Right? Which was what actually I had done. Somebody gave me an old single fork Cannondale, and it was the only thing that was wrong with it that I could see was that it needed brakes. But when you're dealing with a single fork Cannondale, I had no idea that you're dealing with oil pressure and all this stuff. Like it sounds like such a simple question, but if he takes this and breaks it down into when he has to work on a bike, he's going to have a topic that he can sit and talk about for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. So how long are you thinking your videos need to be?
Probably 3 to 5 minutes at the most. Yeah.
So what Gary Vandershuk does is, Gary V, if you go on his LinkedIn, you'll see that he literally doesn't even have that. He has probably a 3-minute video. But then what he's going to do with that video is he gives it over his team, because he's consciously decided to have people follow him around.
Mm-hmm.
So he just gets someone to video him while sitting at his table while people are asking him questions, and and so then he'll answer that question within 3 minutes. Then they take it and they make a post out of it. Then they take any good little nuggets and bites, and they'll make those into little Instagram posts if they're like little sentences that are, because Gary Vee-isms. Sometimes just like he can say that one thing and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
And then you've got something also that you can post over to Facebook if it's just a little clip of a video.
Yeah.
He started with the YouTube, and then he's just going to break it down from there. So I would even just try doing one. First of all, get your blank piece of paper. Even to start with 5 if 10 is overwhelming. What are the top 5 things that someone, because your goal is to recruit, what are the top 5 things when you tell people about the business that they ask you back?
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
And don't make it technical. Just go from your gut. Yeah. Start with just 5 if it's overwhelming. Start with 3 if it's overwhelming. And get your piece of paper. This is so simple. Actually, Owen Clark gets credit for this. He actually used to teach this as well. The guy that I met at the meetup, because he had an online cartoon. I always say I used to convince people the internet existed. He used to teach people how to use it on social media to get his business going. One of my original jobs in the mall, when my kids were still in school, I'd go sit in the mall and convince people they needed email. Which I don't know if you remember, that was actually really hard. It's like, why do I need email? I have a fax.
How funny, eh?
What is email? I'm like, okay, well, you make sure your modem is plugged in.
Modem?
And then I also did, because I worked for Dalco Internet, I would actually did tech support as well. So
you'd also do what? Sorry?
Tech support for the internet.
Wow.
So we'd sit and it was so basic. It was, it was always like, so is your computer plugged in? Do you get that blip, 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 blip when you when you go to connect to the internet, right? And it was like, if that was computer tech at the time.
Wow.
That was the biggest help desk problem.
Yeah, right.
So what is the number of 2 questions that when you let people know about the business, what's the 2 things that you want to tell them about?
There's actually a number of things that I can come up with. Should I just do like a video per question, or
you could do one right now. What's the number 1 question that you get asked?
The number 1 question. It's more the objections that I get. Like I don't have enough time or something like this. Wonder if there's a video I can do.
Flip that too. If you want to have a successful Rodan and Fields business and you want to build a team, how much time should I dedicate to this if I want to make sure that I can eventually make $5,000 a month? How much time do you think that?
How much money did you say?
$5,000 a month.
I don't think I'd want to start there, because you do need to, I think a lot of people when they're looking for just an extra little bit of money, and $500 to $1,000 is
okay. So so I've asked her that question. I'd say, you know what? I think that's a really good question. Mm-hmm. But sometimes when I tell people that they can make $5,000 a month at Rodan and Fields, they kind of shut off, so I like to go about it and explain to people how they can make $500 to $1,000, because then they feel the security of the business they're doing right now or their job. Mm-hmm. And I can show them really easily how to make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. And all you need is about 2 to 3 hours a month or a week, you decide. Mm-hmm. And I really think it works really well for me, because I love to go out and network, and it's where I meet a lot of new people. And do you think that that's something you could do? Could you do 2 to 3 hours a week, or do you think you could do 2 to 3 hours a month? Because that really starts to define how much money you can make in Rodan.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then maybe list some of the things that you do with those time allocations. Mm-hmm. Right? So you go to the ladies' meeting, you go to conferences, you do beautiful spaces. Maybe you take time to write on Facebook, you take time to do some things, and then be like, oh, I hate social media. I don't know what to do with social media. Well, you know what? I've got a couple really simple things you can do for that are solutions that'll help you make that extra 1,000 to 500. In fact, you can just come meet me at Beautiful Spaces, which I do once a month, and start to build your network there, because I've already created a platform where you can meet with new people. You can it will give you an opportunity to take some beautiful photos to use on your Instagram. I can show you how to use Adobe Spark, and it'll help you create some just great little images that you can post to Instagram, and you can have it done before you even leave the beautiful space that we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's something that would work for you? Do you want to try it for the next, get your calendar out. Let's book the next beautiful space that I'm going to be at. See if you can make it for the next 4 or 5. And why don't you start there and see if this is the business for you? Number one, it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to help you get out and be more social. And just like with Adam, he doesn't know what business he wants to do, he put down his top 10 questions. And I can help you develop the questions that you're going to answer to the clients that you might build as a Rodan & Fields, what's the word you guys use? Consultant, because your customers, Anita, you are a certain age woman with so many kids, and maybe you're talking to someone who's 21 and has gotten over acne and believes that the product is so amazing because she doesn't have to deal with adult acne through her 30s. And that's going to be a totally different market for her. So what I would say if I were you is I can help you develop that because you have a different target market than me, but I understand the business really well. I've been to a lot of Rodan & Fields training, and I'm really happy to share that with you. So do you want to put in your calendar and come out and see me at the next beautiful spaces? We're going to be meeting at the Georgia Hotel at 3 o'clock on Sunday, whatever day. And why don't we have coffee? I wouldn't say no. I mean, it's just an opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a hard.
I want to create videos that I can reuse, repurpose. So I think I'll shy away from sharing specifics about dates and events, but focus on information that I can repost next month or even next year and whatnot. But I think this idea of coming up with 10 topics or 10 questions is a good one. I would
answer the one, for example, but just about how much time. Because that's going to create that whole scenario conversation, right? I'm not saying have that conversation in the video.
Yeah. How much time?
Answer how
do I spend my time?
Yeah, and a little example of how much you spend, how much time do you need to make 500 to 1,000 in Rodan & Fields? Because that's your comfort zone right now, right?
Well, that's what I think gets people, like I put more time into Rodan & Fields because I'm striving for more, but to make, $500 to $1,000 in this business, if you do these 3 things, you could spend literally, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week is kind of ideal, 1 to 2 hours a day on this. And you should be able to make $1,000 a month, so.
And then you can get a couple people to do testimonials.
Yeah, I've been getting some testimonials coming in. I've been thinking about. Do you mean like video testimonials?
Oh, they don't have to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Just put them up as slides.
Yeah.
Right.
And add them to my videos.
Yeah, you can add slides to your videos.
Yeah, I guess so. I need to take a video editing training. I'm sure there's some.
Just download like Spark, or there's lots of free video stuff. You know enough about it. You don't need to train.
Yeah, Adobe Spark. So that's well, I've done videos before. It takes me forever to do them because I don't really know much about it. So
try Adobe Spark, because all you do literally is you can do like 30 seconds, add it in, 30 seconds, add it in, add a slide in. Okay.
So Adobe Spark is for video and for like doing stuff on graphics or on images?
Yeah, I pay $15 a month for it, and you can add your logo in and all that stuff too.
Right.
I use it for Black's Pub. I used to work for Transit, so I've done some of our because Transit is a trifecta of municipal, provincial, and private business. So I had the videos up that I just made on Spark, literally in the first aid room, up on our local Whistler municipal page, right? About winter's coming, make sure you got this, you're a visitor, this is what you need to know about being a visitor, blah, blah, blah. And there's little clips, and then you add them together. And what's easy is then, because they're little clips, it's like, oh, I didn't like that. And so you've just got 20 seconds to edit.
Yeah.
And so you just piece it together, it blends it lovely, and you can add images and graphics and little short videos
Cool.
Just a coffee at Beautiful Space.
Okay. Have you used iMovie? And if so, how does it compare to that?
Oh, iMovie is a full movie suite. So if you've got that, I mean.
Okay. Yeah, I've got iMovie. That's what I use, you know.
Yeah, so, I mean, you've got the full suite there.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think iMovie, you can also, that's an app they've morphed it over to an app on your phone. So
yeah, I've got it on my phone. Yeah.
As long as you've got the video power on your phone.
Yeah.
I'm always pushing my phone to its limits. So
yeah. Me too.
But like, why do you have two phones? I'm like, have you met me? I have more apps than,
Right? Too funny. Okay, that's great. That's giving me a little bit of direction. I'll work on putting my ideas together today on, what are my topics. Start there. And I know I can pull from, I've got some blog posts. I was just looking on my blog the other day, and I wrote a post on 10 reasons why I think Rodan Fields is a brilliant business investment. And I get so many hits on that. Like, people are like thousands and thousands and thousands of people have read that post.
Answered your own question then. So you just need to take your work is already done. Just go out for a bike ride, get your energy up, and post a video on it, or go do it by the ocean. Because the ions in the air are going to naturally light you up a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah.
We love it when we're near the water. I know you do.
Yeah, I do. That's interesting. So should I do like the 10 reasons? That would be a post itself, or a video, all 10 reasons.
Yeah, just do that. And I think you have so much content. You need to stop creating content and start just making it better and taking it over to video. Take your little, because your writing is so prolific, you need to make sure it's all stored and backed up. Instead of, are you just typing right into Facebook when you do that, or are you storing it somewhere else as well?
A combination. Sometimes I just go right into Facebook, and sometimes if it's a longer post, I'll create it first.
So what I would do is make sure each of those have a hashtag in them so they're searchable.
Oh, what kind of hashtag would you put?
One that no one else will ever think or have. So then you can just search it.
And it's always the same?
It'll be like Anita 753. It doesn't matter. It's not for anyone else but you, but it makes it totally searchable for you so that you can always go back and reshare those. That's one way to do that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because, for example, I did 30 days of videos on Facebook Lives, and I was like, oh, hold on. I haven't downloaded these. These are now they were all financial planning videos. So it was like,
I remember them.
I didn't record them somewhere else and then post them, because the whole idea is you get better reach when you're live. But now they've changed that you can now do a premiere with a recorded video, because it makes so much sense. But now that's content that should have been on YouTube.
Right.
Because now it's in order, it's in a playlist, it's usable. I could have sent an assistant there and said, you know what, spend $5 a week, just keep transcribing that until you're done. So I've got a budget, and I can just take that and make that into reusable content, which then becomes a course, which then becomes a book, which, and it was like, now I got to go back. And I've searched them all. They're all sitting in a file. Mm-hmm. And now I have to go back and redo them for YouTube. I've got to download them, move them over, migrate them over. So I've just created this whole bunch of work, but I also know the content in that work. That's 30 days worth of work. Sometimes it was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, interesting. Well, we learn, right?
So you already have so much amazing content.
Yeah.
Go back and make sure you're reusing that and making sure that it's stored in a safe place. So when you go to write your book, you've got all this, you can just literally give it to someone to do for you.
Interesting.
All you got to do is stand there, look pretty, and hit play, record.
Awesome. That was great. I know what I'm going to do today. Thank you very much, Anyssa.
Awesome. Have you had a cup of coffee yet?
Oh yeah. That's my first thing I do when I crawl out of bed, go make my latte. All right. I got to get my head into my CBC meeting. So I'm going to love you and leave you. And
awesome.
We'll talk to you soon. All right. Ciao, Bella.
Good luck with that. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I will. Thanks.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.